Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in to this webinar about initiating the scaling of nature-based solutions. I'm Stuart Connop. I'm a Senior Research Fellow from the Sustainability Research Institute at the University of East London, based in the UK. I'm currently working on the EU Horizon 2020 funded project, Connecting Nature, which is focused on the mainstreaming of nature-based solutions in urban areas. In this webinar, I'll be presenting the first steps that the cities in our project took in relation to scaling nature-based solution implementation, with a focus on nature-based solutions for climate resilience and urban water management. These first steps involved engaging stakeholders within each city through an initiating scaling process to explore their experiences and knowledge of enabling conditions and barriers for implementing nature-based solutions. I hope that it will be of interest to all of you and will inspire you on your own journeys exploring the barriers and enablers for nature-based solutions in your own cities. Globally, cities are increasingly recognizing the value of a nature-based solution approach to urban design. Examples of the adoption of nature-based solutions come in a variety of forms, supporting broad-ranging benefits and based on design for a variety of climatic and geographical locations. These can range in scale from micro-installations such as pocket parks, through to medium-scale initiatives like green roofs and living walls, to much larger examples like urban parks, forests and wetlands. There is an increasing body of evidence demonstrating that they can make a significant contribution to urban water and climate change resilience. In general, however, these solutions tend to be isolated examples of innovation benefiting a particular location within a city. Numerous barriers still remain to the upscaling and outscaling of such solutions, so that their benefits can be felt across entire cities rather than just within specific localities and communities. Such scale delivery is vital if we are to avoid the potential for nature-based solutions to act as a mechanism for gentrification, and if we are to enable our cities to become more socially just in relation to building resilience in the face of the challenges associated with climate change for all communities. In Connecting Nature, we're working together with city administrations to address the barriers that remain to scaling nature-based solutions. This includes addressing barriers related to finance and entrepreneurship, evaluation and monitoring, governance, technical delivery, and co-creation and co-production. In doing so, we are developing processes to unlock widespread nature-based solution delivery with the aim of sharing our experiences across cities globally. The role in the project of myself and my colleagues at UEL is to work directly with the local authority partners of 3 cities that have already established expertise in relation to different aspects of delivering nature-based solutions. These cities are Genk in Belgium, Glasgow in Scotland, and Poznan in Poland. Each one of these cities is developing a nature-based solution exemplar. In Genk, this is the Steamer Valley programme, the regeneration of a degraded waterway and active travel route that runs through the heart of the city of Genk, connecting key sites across the city. Suffering from the impacts of combined sewage overflow and a lack of stewardship, the Steamer Valley has become forgotten by many. The redevelopment of the Steamer Valley is now one of the most important flagship projects of the entire city, and a nature-based solution approach to the programme offers opportunities to enhance ecological, social and economic benefits. In Glasgow, the exemplar is the development and delivery of an open space strategy. The strategy adopts a nature-based solution approach to the design, delivery and stewardship of all of Glasgow's open spaces. And in Poznan, exemplar delivery is focused around a programme of small-scale green interventions across the city to supplement the pre-existing green wedges around which the city was designed. Interventions are focused on delivering small-scale eco-gardens at kindergartens and schools across the city. All three cities are scaling nature-based solutions to maximise their benefits and reach across their communities through delivery of their exemplars. And we are working with them to help them move along this nature-based solution scaling delivery pathway. At the beginning of the project, like most cities, our three cities sat at the start of this pathway, delivering localised pilots of innovation, implementing nature-based solutions on a building or site scale, working within often siloed governance structures, and capturing learning on a localised scale. Within the project, we're supporting our cities to move from this localised pilot stage to one whereby nature-based solutions are embedded into city practice. This means multifunctional benefits are being delivered by design and in relation to local needs. Nature-based solutions are being planned over multiple and connected scales. New forms of collaborative governance are normalised to promote collaborative delivery. Experiential learning processes are shared, and systems for delivery are open to innovation. The first step in this process was termed initiating scaling. This process involved working together with each of our cities to generate a deep understanding of each local city context and explore mechanisms that were enabling and preventing scaling. By identifying and understanding these mechanisms, innovative processes could be co-developed to address these barriers, ultimately creating a situation where each city could embed nature-based solutions at a citywide planning and policy level, with nature-based solution projects being implemented through a programme of both city-led and external stakeholder-led nature-based solution initiatives. This initiating scaling process involves exploring the state of nature-based solution implementation in each city in relation to three distinct aspects. Firstly, in relation to retrospection, assessing the historical context of nature-based solution delivery in relation to what past experience the city has, with a specific focus on what has worked and what hasn't worked. Secondly, in relation to self-reflection, an assessment of where the city is currently in relation to nature-based solution understanding, delivery and scaling. And lastly, in relation to direction, an assessment of where the city wants to be in relation to nature-based solution delivery. What are the needs and drivers for nature-based solutions in the city? What are the assets that the city has? And what are the challenges and barriers to nature-based solution planning, delivery and stewardship? Rather than this exploration only being carried out by a narrow team within the City Council, the initiating scaling process brings together a diversity of stakeholders from across the city who are all involved in nature-based solution planning, delivery or stewardship. This ensures that a diversity of voices and experiences are shared, capturing a more holistic overview of the nature-based solution implementation status of the city. Bringing together diverse stakeholders in this way also creates a mechanism for developing a shared vision and collaborative working opportunities amongst the stakeholders for the future of nature-based solution scaling within the city. In order to deliver this process, each city worked with an independent bridging organisation. Using an independent organisation ensured that no bias or influence was brought into the process through pre-existing agendas and hierarchies already established within the City Council. It also ensured that participants were free to contribute anonymously to the discussions. Each of our cities worked with the SME Osmos for this process, and it's with this SME that we developed this initiating scaling process. The process involves 4 steps. Firstly, a set of one-to-one interviews with key stakeholders from across the city, involved in or with the potential for nature-based solution implementation. These interviews were based loosely around the key components of nature-based solution implementation, using a series of questions developed following a literature review. This included topics such as city context, the state of nature-based solutions, business, finance, and communities. This was followed by a process of synthesizing the outcomes from the interviews into a series of learning outcomes in the form of an experiential report. A follow-up workshop was then developed with a broader pool of stakeholders to sense check and discuss the learning outcomes. This was then followed by the production of a final report that summarized the identified enablers and barriers. The final reports were then shared with stakeholders across each city. More details on this process can be found in this Initiating Scaling Guidebook, available on the Connecting Nature website. This slide shows the results of this process for one of our Connecting Nature cities, Poznan. As you can see, in terms of enabling factors, this was broken down into assets, such as the historical success of nature-based solution projects in the city, including the green wedge urban design on which the city was originally planned. Opportunities, including opportunities to feed into a new rainwater management strategy being developed for the city, and organisational policy practice, including promoting nature-based solution approaches in future funding application rounds of the city's civic budget, a budget to empower citizens to deliver locally led social projects. In terms of challenges faced by the city, these can be broken down into capacity-related barriers, for example, the negative perception of green infrastructure projects from previous schemes that had been perceived to have failed. Pressures, for example, the pressure on open space from a booming housing market. Lack of understanding or policy, for example, a lack of understanding amongst developers of the value of nature-based solutions for property resale. And organisational barriers, for example, senior policymakers not being aware of the benefits of nature-based solutions, meaning that they could be overlooked in strategic policies. Following this introductory initiating scaling process, we've been working with our cities to support them in exploring mechanisms for addressing these barriers. This support has come in a number of formats, including such diverse approaches as one-to-one support with experts, establishing city-to-city exchange for innovation sharing, and delivering governance workshops. A very simple example of an innovative approach to addressing all 4 of the examples of barriers I listed for Poznan was the development of a nature-based solution catalogue by the city team. The catalogue was used to raise the profile of nature-based solutions by identifying the different types of nature-based solutions that are appropriate for the city. This included a focus on examples that have already been implemented in the city historically. In this way, they were able to demonstrate how nature-based solutions are not a new concept for Poznan, and how they've been successfully used to provide benefits for citizens for a long period of time. The catalogue is now being used to engage both colleagues in the local authority, including senior policymakers, and external stakeholders, such as developers, in delivery of nature-based solutions, and the shared ambition to scale this delivery. Throughout the project, our Connecting Nature cities have been developing a range of innovative approaches to addressing these barriers, from the simple to the more complex. You can find more details about these on our website, in our guidebooks and framework, through our Connecting Nature platform, and through our innovation summits. I hope this provided you with an interesting insight into our project work and, hopefully, the ambition to begin your own initiating scaling process. Thanks for listening.